Since the beginning of time, the idea of immortality has held a strong hold on the human mind. The concept of living without the limitations of time and death has been the impetus for innumerable tales, philosophical discussions, and urban legends throughout human history. In this video, we are going to look into the scenario of a person attaining immortality, and we are going to investigate what might take place as the years and centuries pass. In spite of the fact that immortality is frequently portrayed as a desirable quality, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate that it is not without its share of difficulties and repercussions. The initial revelation. Imagine that you woke up one morning to find that you had stopped getting older, that you no longer had to worry about getting sick, and that you were no longer confronted with the inevitability of dying. The first few years of an immortal's life are likely to be characterized by a sense of awe and enthusiasm. Instead of being terrified of becoming older and passing away, people would have an insatiable hunger for new information and experiences. You would look at life with a fresh perspective, making it your mission to realize all of your goals and aspirations. Decades pass. Your life will eventually veer off the mortal path that you and other people once traveled along as the years pass by. When you were formerly the same age, friends and family members would continue to get older and finally pass away. You would learn to adapt to a world in which you are the constant and others are transitory, and the anguish of loss would be a continuous companion for you to bear. As a result of having lived through times and events that no one else could possibly fathom, you would evolve into a reservoir of knowledge and wisdom. You would be able to observe how changes in society, culture, and technology would rewrite the annals of history as they occurred around you as the world continued to change. A century goes by. The first century of your immortality would be filled with fresh adventures and enlightening discoveries. You would live through a time of conflict, political turmoil, and societal advancement. Your capacity to affect the outcomes of these situations would be extremely constrained, but also extremely significant. You might be able to give advice to leaders and provide insights based on historical perspectives, but your very existence might also be a source of fear and jealousy, which might lead to seclusion and concealment. Your interpersonal connections would become even more difficult to navigate. It would become increasingly difficult to make profound emotional relationships with mortals as time went on and loved ones passed away, friends and lovers. You would find it increasingly difficult to connect with other people in a society that is moving at such a breakneck pace, and as a result, loneliness would become an all too familiar friend. A millennium and beyond. After the passing of a millennium, your life would be characterized by a profound sense of isolation and separation on a deeper level. You would probably withdraw from involvement in human issues and lead a life that was somewhat isolated from other people. The rapid development of technology would make it possible for you to continue learning and adapting, but the transient nature of human connections would make it more difficult for you to connect with people on a more intimate level. You might become a legendary figure in the world if, over the course of centuries, you managed to collect immense money and a wealth of knowledge. You would be able to observe the rise and fall of empires, the birth and death of untold numbers of species, and the unraveling of the mysteries of the cosmos. You would become, in many respects, a living tribute to the passage of time, as well as the resiliency of the human spirit. The psychological toll. The psychological toll that immortality exacts on a person grows more and more obvious as the millennia pass by. The human intellect was not intended to be able to deal with the infinity of existence. It is possible that feelings of depression, apathy, and existential angst will become your daily companions. You would have to consider whether or not your immortality is a boon or a bane in order to get an answer to this issue. The future of humanity. Your outlook on what the future holds for humanity would be one of a kind. It is possible that you will be around to see humans populate other planets, discover the mysteries of the cosmos, and transcend the boundaries of their biology. You would be fascinated and perplexed by the evolution of humanity, in both its biological and technological aspects. On the other hand, you could witness the catastrophic results of human stupidity, such as the destruction of the environment or wars on a worldwide scale. Your ability to intervene in these situations would be restricted due to the fact that your immortal position could be perceived as a threat to the natural order of life or as an interference in its functioning. Considerations of an ethical nature. The concept of immortality raises a lot of difficult moral questions. If you knew something that may change history, would you feel obligated to share it with the rest of humanity? Or would you be responsible for keeping your immortality a secret so that those in authority do not take advantage of it or abuse it in any way? There are also concerns over the distribution of resources and their long-term viability. How do you plan to defend your place in what will likely become an even more crowded world if global population growth continues unabated? These are difficult ethical conundrums that you would have to work through over the course of millennia. Physiological and biological changes. In the scenario of immortality, the long-term physiological and biological changes you might experience are a significant aspect to consider. The big question here is whether your body would continue to age at a cellular and molecular level, or if you would eventually reach a state of stasis where your physical age remains fixed at the point when you first gained immortality. If your body continued to age at a molecular level, you would inevitably face the physical changes that come with aging, such as a decline in muscle mass, a decrease in bone density, and the degeneration of various bodily systems. While you would still be protected from death, you might have to contend with the same physical limitations and health issues that afflict mortals, albeit at a much slower pace. Conversely, if you reached a state of stasis, where your body remained fixed at the age it was when you became immortal, this would present an entirely different set of challenges. You would maintain the physical capabilities of a person in their prime, which would likely be an advantage in many ways. However, this stasis would come with its own issues. You might witness the world evolving around you, with generations of people growing older and changing while you remain eternally unchanged. The potential physiological and biological changes associated with immortality would not only affect your physical health, but also have deep psychological and emotional ramifications. These changes would shape your experience of immortality and influence your interactions with the world and those around you. The ultimate impact of these changes would depend on whether your biology continues to age, or if you reach a state of unchanging stasis. And both scenarios come with their unique challenges and consequences. Challenges in the real world. Immortality would present an infinite number of problems to solve practically. Constant work and adaptability are required in order to keep personal relationships, acquire resources, and adjust to the ever-changing world. Keeping personal relationships requires. It is possible that you may need to assume various identities, collect a fortune in a stealthy manner, and successfully traverse the increasingly intricate web that is human society. The possibility of achieving immortality presents a fascinating opportunity to investigate the nature of human existence, including both its achievements and its challenges. Although the possibility of living forever may sound tempting, the reality of the situation is much more complicated. The passage of time would bring up significant mental and emotional obstacles, in addition to ethical and practical conundrums. In the end, the journey of an immortal would be a solitary one, since it would be distinguished by a fundamental separation from the world in which mortals live. It would be a life full of both beauty and suffering, one in which the distinction between being blessed and being cursed would become less clear as the years passed. When we consider the possibility of immortality, we are brought face to face with the transient nature of our own lives and the necessity of making the most of the time we have here on earth. It is that in the end, the very constraints that come with being mortal are what give life its value and significance. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.